So when I attend assembly, the first assembly, now I'm in first form. You know, in first form, you know, those days I'm from the generation that was really had a hard time as a form one. I'm just trying not to use heavy words. Your thing is going international, but you know, for those of you who are non-Kenyans, if you're in the first form, you had a hard life. You know, being sent everywhere, being demeaned, you know, some people used to be slapped here on the back. So when that generation was our generation. But there's this day I hear a piano playing, and he's not playing classical music. He's playing the rumba. Remember I told you about how I grew up?
Yes.
A guy is playing the piano, and it's sounding like the rumba bands, Simba Wanyika and them, that I've been hearing and grew up listening to, and that's what I want to play. So I said, my goodness, I don't care if I'm first form one, I'll find my way into that hall and stand behind him. He was this form 4 guy who was first very rude to me at first, just chasing me away from where he was. But eventually he saw my passion. Mm-hmm. Here's the irony. This guy knew where to place his fingers, but he can't explain to you what he's doing.
So he was ear but not trained.
Yes.
He combines.
He combines, he can hear it. He combines, he plays that. I know what it's called just by looking at it because my teacher told me what it is. And my teacher told me what it is 4 years ago. Yes. This is 1990. Yes. 1986, I knew what that is. Because the teacher will, my teacher will tell you, play a scale. From there, play its chord. That's it. And what I've just done right now, even right now, I've played 11 notes. I've played 8 first, and then I held 3 back again, 11. I've done something profound in a term stitching right there. But this guy doesn't know what it's called, but he will play it. And then he'll play choruses. I'll never forget. During assembly, so the headmaster says, we're going to sing this hymn. I can tell that the way he's playing that hymn is not the way hymns are played. So he must be improvising and found a way of making it sound so East African and so rumba. I'm like, this is so exciting. I can't do that. But if you give me a hymn book,
you can play it, a music sheet.
I can play it. Yeah, I can play What a Friend We Have in Jesus. The way it is.
Yes.
But this guy is just like,
so
what a friend we have in Jesus.
You're killing me.
I'm like, you know, it's just there doing that.
So he's breaking all the rules of stuff that you know.
There you go.
And you're like, but I was taught by a jungu.
this particular way, yeah. Because classical training is the best training. Mm-hmm. Any musician listen to it is the best training, in my opinion, that you can get.
Yeah.
Because from there it gives you, there's a way it is designed, it gives you just simple basics that you need. So if you grow to be a jazz player or what, you have to begin from there. So for me, I have not realized that I had good training.
Yeah.
Until I see that this guy cannot explain to me what it is. So I had to figure out myself. I used to come and stand behind him.
And to see what he's doing with his fingers.
Yeah. So I'm asking myself questions. Why are you moving from that position to this position? So I would sneak in the morning, I would wake up at 4.
You're killing me.
Yeah, I'm a Form 1. I've been battered, I've gone through so much hell, and I have to, at 6 o'clock I should be cleaning in the morning, cleaning up someone's room or so, a senior. But before that, I sneak into the hall and ask myself why this guy was moving from A chord to E chord. And I struggle.
Because musically it sounds right.
It sounds right. But it sounds like the radio.
Yeah.
But why is he specifically playing those chords? Because there's this day, now during a CU meeting, that guy's younger, like prodigy, a guy he was born again. Mm-hmm. This is a younger guy. So he's playing a chorus. I remember so well. Ushuda nitatoa nimeokoka. Ushuda nitatoa nimeokoka mimi. Same chords. Mm-hmm. Same movement.
Yes.
It's like monotone. It's keep repeating. It's just looping, nothing fancy. But that's what it's doing. So I'm asking myself, if you started singing that song, I don't know how to play it. But when I see him playing it, he can't explain what it is, but I know what it is. But the question is, why are you moving there? I had to figure it out for myself.
And what did you figure out now?
No, just
the movement?
They just decided, looks like if it's in this key and it's moving down, so let me try another key and count the number of steps and see if it's going to sound the same. And I'll do it. Different key. And I said, caught you. So it has to be a certain distance. This way. I don't know why. I don't know why, but that's it.
Yeah.
So after that, when I figured out those distances, that's when I was doing now my high school theory now, that's when now they would explain to me, there's a now advanced theory. That makes sense. But when they're explaining to me in the music class, they're not using a piano.
They were just, what, how?
It's just, you just write the notes,
I get
just
it.
theory on blackboard or whatever. So when now remember, that time now I'm in third form, because third form is when you do that advanced theory work that involves this kind of stuff. So already by that time, I've figured out I'm playing choruses, I'm still fumbling around. So when that was projected in writing, that's when I knew, this is it. It's musical language that now made a lot of sense when we were playing. So I say, now from then on, God just favored me. I was a school pianist. I was every assembly. It is now in high school.
But at this time, you have not met a single person.
Yeah.
Or in Kagumo,
Yeah.
did you meet anybody who had the understanding of music that you had?
Yeah, from our group I had someone who was in the senior class, who was older than me, who had gone to Form 3. But life. People decide, I'm not going to pursue music. This guy is there and I'm not, playing. Used to be in this, we were taught by the same, him is not interested.
Yes, I get, okay, yeah.
So for me...
that means at this time, you've kind of figured out this is the direction I want to.
Yeah, in fact, I've just remembered you had asked me that earlier, yes. But now because of that, I think by the time when I got born again, and I think, this is what really is the meat of this. When I got born again, however young I was, 7, somehow when the Spirit of God comes on you, you find purpose. When you get born again, you find purpose. To talk about purpose without talking about spirit, either, it's difficult. To talk about purpose without talking about Christ, it's difficult. Because purpose transcends the things we do here on earth. Transcends your career, your things. But who are you? Now it has to be when you have found relationship with Christ. It's easy for people who know Jesus to talk about
my reason
purpose,
my
reason for existence, and
with
a
lot of conviction.
With a lot, yes.
I'm here for this.
Yes.
This is why I'm created, to fill this gap.
Yes, and you can be able to separate your gifting. You see, I can kick a ball and very nicely and score like Messi, but it can just be just a thing. I can draw a picture here and it's a talent, I've got it. But my purpose is something else. So I think when I got born again, since I was a child, I play back and realize it's something that was settling. And it was very clear in my mind that anything music, it is. I can't tell you what it shall be. For instance, because of the exposure we had in Nyeri Primary, back to Nyeri Primary, God is amazing, man. Because where my dad comes from, man, I just thank God I grew up in the environment in Nyeri Primary, because
which again was not coincidental. Now when you bring that element of purpose,
yes, it was not coincidental, because in that, as simple a job as it looked for him to be a storeman, the environment
changed
had
your life.
Government people, kids, Chief Justice kids, ministers' kids, international kids. That's the environment I grew up in. Every sector you thought of, even if it was sports. Some clubs in the National Football League used to come and train there if they're coming to play a match in Nyeri. That's how I got to see Divock Origi's dad. He came and trained in front of us there as a goalkeeper for Shabana and Kenya Breweries later. They used to come. So now there's a marching band. I can play a bugle. We are aware about a bugle. The one that is blown for raising the flag. you're aware about the government. You're aware about 6 o'clock when you hear the whistle and the flag is coming down, you stop. I was a scout, I was aware. We were aware, and that's why I wanted to touch a bit on the public holidays that we used to do. We were aware about that. So because of that, we were aware because the kids we had were government kids. I greeted enough ministers of education when I was receiving prizes because of the kind of environment it was. So that exposure started making me think that, oh yeah, because of that exposure now, sometimes the president would land and park his helicopters. The field is big. I mean, the field is big. Yeah. So which place, if President is around, yep, let's park them there. So the army used to park once in a while there. So if I admire the army, then because of that awareness, I admired how army people were marching. We used to see the fly past. You see the fly past that happens in national celebrations in front of the president?
It leaves Nyanyuki.
Good. Now, smack in the middle of Nanyuki and they leave, it was nearly free. They used to fly over, and then we rush and see them doing their dance for the president on TV. Then we run back.
Oh, I get, because you've seen them leave, so you know they're going to be, because it takes 40 minutes. It takes 40 minutes from.
So from where we were positioned, we'd see them coming from Nanyuki, fly over us in 2 batches. So guys, we run home, we wait. Remember again, in the 80s, we were one of the luckiest few communities to be exposed to TV. We're talking about 80 to 85.
Yes.
Not many people had TV. But the environment, we had either you're in the dome, because the dome had a TV. They're inheriting from a British, but a very nice domes. So we'd go and see, they dance for the president, they do their air show. And then we run outside and wait somewhere for them to come, wait for a few minutes, and they come back flying back. So I was aware of something called the Air Force. I was aware about the marching bands. I was aware about playing. I was aware about the government. So there's one time I had a big dream that I'll join the Air Force. That's one of my things that I said. But I said on one condition, that I will join the band. That's how, any career dream I had.
The band.
Band, music. So that's how I cancelled out. Doctor, is that music? No. Lawyer? No. Air Force? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not saying Air Force band, but they're related to the army. Why not? That's the only thing. And up to today, I normally feel that if it was I was living in another world, I would be in the Air Force. Because I loved just that. But as long as I'm in the band. That's how I cut down. So because I used to say those things, they sounded jokingly. But then I realized everything I said was music. So my mom used to tease me and tell me, you'll be a music teacher. I'm like, I don't want to be a teacher like you. You guys have just forced us to pass our exams. You're harassing me around that. I refused, and then they used to laugh. Now I'm a music teacher.
In fact, right now we're in a school.
Absolutely. So that's the scenario about music. So by the time, now back to my high school friend, who he moved on, me had known that no matter which environment I will go, any music is played anywhere, I'm there. And you see, as you grow up, your purpose is aligned. Your reason for living is aligned. Vision is aligned. It's made clearer by circumstances, by whatever it is. Things are made clearer. So I think it was a time when things are becoming clearer for me that music it shall be, but I can't tell what it is. As I grow, maybe I'll get an answer.
You'll get more clarity.
I'll get more clarity. And by the time I was finishing high school, I started toying around with the possibility of, okay, maybe I'll become a teacher. Maybe I'll own a studio. Maybe, kidogo, I was thinking like that. But again, there's another dynamic that happened when I was in high school. So now another dynamic that happened in high school was I'm growing as now a teenager who is born again. So now I'm getting exposed to yes, there are those Rumba chords that I'm hearing. I've started playing in the Christian Union. I figured it out. I figured I knew, these are triads, they're called triads and chords. Play. So I'm feeling, good. There's this friend of mine called Kamande. The last time I had, he was in the US now, currently. That time he was a year ahead of me. So I don't remember whether he was in third form or second form.
Any relation to Alice Kamande?
No, I don't think there's any relation to Alice Kamande. I could find out, but I doubt.
I would be shocked because she was also in Nyeri. In fact, she went to, I think, Nyeri Baptist.
Oh, she's Nyeri Baptist?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nyeri Baptist are our neighbors up there. But this guy called Kamande, he could be a relation or maybe not. He's the one who showed me how to hold guitar chords. Now, when you've done classical training on piano, and I've told my daughter this, which is upcoming, whatever, you just need to show me how to hold a guitar chord and leave me alone.
It's easy.
Leave me alone, yeah, because now everything just works out. You know, this is a D, this is an F, just show me. My job was now I would take the Christian Union's guitar and stay with it in my cube. We used to call them cubes.
Yes.
Those days. And I stay all night, I'm blisters and so on, the guitar playing, I'm, playing, strumming these things. Some of them are bleeding, my fingers are bleeding, and say I have to crack this thing.
Yeah.
Because there's fellowship tomorrow and their chorus is being sung and there's nobody playing the guitar and Kamande is not available all the time to play.
Yeah.
So here I am. So in a span of a few months, by the time I'm in third form, I'm the school pianist and I'm the fellowship
guitar. And at the same time, you hook on those shakers.
Yes, I'm still shakers when I go home. There's something I need to say that eventually my parents pioneered the beginning of the Methodist congregation in Nyeri. In fact, when you go to Nyeri town, you see a Nyeri Methodist church. They did that. By the time I was going to high school, it had started fully fledged, pastors coming in and so on. So now, that's another dynamic that happened. So by that time, when I go home, I'm supporting. Yeah. Then at the same time, as a teenager, growing fellowship and so on, there were these Nairobi guys. Me have grown up country in Nyeri. So the only reason it used to make me come to Nairobi is the piano, which I did when I was in primary.
KCC now, yes.
Yeah, which has happened. That was my primary life. Now moving on, I've not been to Nairobi in a long time. But the Nairobi people now are starting to bring us some interesting conversations about integrity music. There's integrity music, there is
the Ron Kenolis,
there's the Winans family, we're like, what's that? Remember, I've grown up listening to Kiswahili, Simba Wanyika and Bless Wanyika and Tabule and them, and I've come and I'm hearing most of those songs, most of those kind of songs in the Christian version rumba that used to be used for crusades. I mean, this is way before even Baraka za Mungu. I mean, that's way before.
Yeah.
We used to say, I think when the charismatic movement, the Pentecostal movement came in, they still had borrowed a bit of what I was talking about, the songs with a story, such that even the choruses used to be stories about what you're experiencing from what you've heard. So like now what I was saying, Ushuhuda nitatoa nimeokoka. And then the measure of success, which I'll talk later, the measure of success was salvation. So a lot of our songs are about me being in Christ. And you sing them in a certain way. So by the time we are thinking about giving to God the worship, that was a concept that we did not know. So now, at that time when I was 15, 16, 17, a lot of things started happening in my psyche about realizing that there are other churches that exist, number one, that do immersion baptism, for instance, in the river. We used to cross a river to go to our house in Nyeri. So after I've gone to school, I was boarding in high school, when I go for holiday, I would have conversations with my dad, like, these guys we must. How come we Methodists don't? And yet Christ...
You were cocooned for a long time.
Yeah, and yet Christ has been immersed in the river. We used to have those conversations, and my dad probably was thinking, this teenager now is grown up. Yes. He thinks he's an adult. And he would genuinely listen and find an answer. If fumble around, he'd find an answer for it. So I started becoming more aware. That's when I started realizing there's something called an electric guitar. I would hear it when guys come for crusades in Nyeri. Then I decided, wait a minute. Now that I've been hearing these sounds from that guy in high school, and I want this rumba thing now. Any crusade by what I call charismatic church, what we call the Pentecostal Deliverance Church, Gospel Outreach, because now in the 90s they exploded in Nairobi. In Nyeri.
Yeah.
Though that had not been happening. There used to be mainly a full gospel church, but it was not audible in my opinion. You're talking about the biggest population was Presbyterian, Anglican, the AIC, and now the Methodist. Now without talking about the Catholics. So now this Pentecostal, tongue-speaking, crusade-doing culture and so on flourished a lot between 89 and into the mid-90s in Nyeri. That's the time I'm right teenager in high school. I would go for crusades.
To hear the music.
And to hear them, and to just behold the presence of an electric guitar, just to behold. And the bass guitar. Now it is sounding like Les Wanyika.
Yes.
Only that Les Wanyika is a secular band, but this is fantastic. The first time I ever sat on a drum kit was in 1991. I was 15. Because a pastor told me, Kijana, sit down on that drum kit in a crusade. Sat, I don't even know what I'm doing, just give me country, boom, chak, boom, chak. I was like, Lord help me, I don't know what this, I've seen before on TV, someone stepping here and here, at least I had a visual idea.
Yeah.
And then boom, chak, boom. I was like, that's it? I can't even remember the color of the drum kit, but the next day I was there. Because of the passion. Now my passion just grew.
So, you've learned. Hold on. In fact, we'll be back. We'll be back for this continuation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's change some batteries.